The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and guests and are not necessarily those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. Time now for European Kitchens and Bath here on WSTU. Call in with questions and comments. 220-9788. 220-WSTU. Now here's your host, John Campion.
And now, here's Johnny.
Frank, you are amazing. This is John Campion. This is Johnny Campion.
Right
yeah,
on.
your host with world-famous Frank Mezzapel. Big Frank, how are you today?
Great. Good to see you.
Man, you always make me feel so at home when I come in here.
Well, it's easy to do.
I was at work the other day, and all of a sudden they're going, hey, don't you have the radio today? That was Thursday. I go, no, I had it the last 2 days. Come on, give me a break.
Right. That's right. You did Tuesday and Wednesday last week.
Then it started making me paranoid. Going, do I have today?
Yeah.
I think
Let me
they're
check my
closed.
calendar.
Yeah, it can only be open so often. Anyways, a limited amount of time. But I'm going to tell you today we have such a fun, wonderful guest,
And dynamic person
who is one of my favorite people. She's always so nice to me. We have Susie Hutchinson. From she's from Stewart, but she is with Helping People Succeed. Welcome, right. Susie.
Thank you so much. And I was actually thinking of here's Johnny from The Shining.
Oh.
So I wasn't sure, Frank, where you were going with that. So
everybody gets their own theme song.
You're too funny.
All righty.
You know who that is, right?
The Everly Brothers.
Well done.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Good. Well, wait till we start sticking the F Troop theme song on you and Rawhide and all that. Yeah. No, we've had some fun on the show. Frank's trained me very well. The show moves fast, especially when I don't have to do all the talking. Right?
True enough.
So, again, this is the John Campion, and I own European Kitchen and Bath here in Stewart on Monterey Road. And we've been extremely busy. If you haven't been by, come check us out. We got all the cool stuff for your kitchen and bath remodel. 25 years in business. So open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and 10 to 2 on Saturdays until January. And then we decided we're going to close on Saturdays in June. January is my birthday, and I don't even know why I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, so Saturday's closed in June. All right.
June, July, August, and we can have a little quality of life.
I think that's,
Because usually I only have one day off during the week, and you know what? I think I need two.
I bet you do. I bet your family might like to see you, you can do fun things and maybe even go out of town or something.
Well, you have 2 days off on the weekend, don't you?
Maybe? I try, but I now have grandchildren. So between work and babysitting, I now say I have to have at least 4 hours a weekend off. I have to.
Well, wait a minute now. Somebody told me that when you're with the grandchildren, it's not babysitting. It's just being with the grandchildren.
It's absolutely the best.
Yeah.
Absolutely the best.
Cool.
I have 5. And so
I have
2 daughters and 5 grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the best. In fact, I get to babysit all day this Friday. So we're already planning what we're going to do for the day.
So what are their ages?
Aiden's the oldest, and he's 12. Then Stefan is 11, almost 12. Emma is 11 now.
Oh, my gosh.
Or 10. No, she's 10. I'm sorry. Hope she's not listening.
She probably is.
Emma. And then Parker is 8, and Landon is 5.
Those are all cool names.
Yeah.
Now, they all live in town?
They live, one of my daughters is a teacher at Clark Advanced Learning,
Okay.
and she lives in Port St. Lucie.
Yes.
And then my other daughter works for Nextera. I guess I can say those things on
Sure
the
you can.
radio. Works for Nextera, and they live
If
in
you
Palm.
can't, Frank will let you know.
All right,
He
too late.
does. Yes, he does. In Palm Beach Gardens. So I'm one of those lucky people
yeah.
that gets to see the grandkids all the time.
It's not like you got to go. Oh, I'm going to go up to Gainesville.
Right.
I would never go to Gainesville.
That's true. That's right. That's right.
I would go to
do-
Tallahassee.
Yeah,
Okay, which is
But
Tallahassee.
I
where you're
would
from, right?
never go. Well, actually, from the 9th grade on, I was an Army brat before that.
Okay.
So
you,
yeah,
You've been around.
I have.
How many states have you lived in? I mean, that you can,
Well, I was 2 weeks old when we left Oklahoma, so I don't really count that.
well, that's a good thing.
Probably 5 or 6 in Germany.
Yeah. in
Dad was
Germany?
stationed in Germany for a
Nice,
while. So
nice.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And I want to just, before you start taking over,
I'm going to be quiet. Frank, you run this show, okay?
I just want to tell you that today is a really big day in the life of helping people succeed.
Tell us about it.
It's our 1-year anniversary of moving into our new building.
That's unbelievable.
And one of the reasons that we were able to move into our new building was your help with a lot of the things that we needed. And you
that's
so
very nice.
graciously donated to us. And we really, really, really appreciate
Oh, who
what
needs
you do.
toilets? No, that's great. That was
We did.
yeah. Well, you know what, Susie, Dee Dee and I are we're grateful that we were able to help, and I'm so glad. And I think it's important for the community to know what's going on over there. It's really cool stuff, and what you do. Everybody's so special from the management, and the director, the leadership, through the fact that how many volunteers you have helping everybody over there do your thing. So I want you to be able to kind of give us an outline of what happens over at your location now, because it's a beautiful location over there in Jensen Beach.
Right, 1601 Northeast Braille Place. Please, anybody who's listening, come by for the grand tour. We are we're a little different from a lot of not-for-profits in that we have diversified somewhat. We don't just work with one group of people. One of our claims to fame, however, is helping people with intellectual disabilities find and keep jobs. And we had today our volunteer appreciation lunch, and we had a testimonial from a young woman who 3 years ago would barely say hello to anybody. She just had been pretty much isolated, which a lot of people with intellectual disabilities are, and she kind of came to us and started getting involved in the community things we do, the volunteer things. We volunteer outside, and she just went to work for Wendy's.
Wow.
And so this, when you think about someone that you go, what would they do? How would they fit into our community? And she is so excited and so happy, and she's now a taxpayer just like the rest of us.
All right.
And that's what it's about. It's helping people succeed.
I can't believe how much money they take out of my. Well, that's really fantastic.
That's another story for another time.
Yes, it is.
But I will tell you
How
that.
exciting.
I will tell you that the number of people that we work with who go totally off of government benefits, I can't guarantee you that the government's spending it any better, but we're thrilled because really and truly it's living the American dream.
Right.
You grow up, you live happily ever after, and you pay taxes.
Nice.
So we do that. We work with a lot of people with intellectual disabilities, helping them learn about the community. We help deliver Meals on Wheels. We volunteer at House of Hope. In fact, we've won an award there for the last 2 years for helping in their thrift shop. We work with Florida Oceanographic. We work with a number of the soup kitchens. So we go out because the world kind of isn't used to a lot of people with obvious disabilities kind of being a part of it. It's getting better.
Yes.
It's getting much better. And we like to think we're part of that movement that lets people know that we're all different. We all have different talents. We all have different ways of doing things, and we fit right in. In fact, I can't remember the number of hours that we worked last year, but if you translate it into volunteer hours, what they're worth, they were worth over $80,000.
Wow.
So when you start looking at, what we do and why are we important.
So I guess there's a broad spectrum of where how we're working with these people inside. to make them, be able to function and learn socially.
Right.
And then being in a a business. I don't know if you'd call it a business situation, Frank, or
We have a lot of different places that we're working. We have people that work for Martin County. We have 3 people in the clerk of the court's office that do data entry. We have people who work in attorneys' offices. We have a person who works as a golf attendant. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, right.
Golf.
Yeah,
I don't
help.
play golf.
Well,
That's you guys play golf. I don't. But
and that guy and me and everybody else still can't putt. So,
I can putt.
Can you?
I can, but I can't, and I can hit it straight. I just can't hit it very far.
Well, there is an adage on that, and we'll get back. It ain't how far, it's how many. Okay.
Right.
Think about that. It ain't how far, it's how many.
Well, I stopped counting at 7.
Okay, well that's a good time. That's a good time to pick up and move on to the next hole.
Yeah.
So this facility is phenomenal. I mean, there you have a lot of space to grow in there. So what's going on inside?
Besides every day, last year we were awarded through the Martin County Community Foundation, through their Francis Langford funds, the Game Changer Award. And what we are charged to do, what we said we would do, would be to really build a collaborative community effort to make sure that every child, no matter what, enters school ready. 57% of the children, only 57% of the children in Martin County are ready for kindergarten. It's a huge number that aren't. And there are a lot of reasons for it. A lot of children don't go to the voluntary preschool. A lot of children don't have parents who are able to help them.
Right.
And so our goal is to work with every community, with the parents, with teachers, with the business community, to basically say we, as a community, we have to embrace this fact that we need for our children to be ready and to be, to be fed in the morning so they're not tired when they get there, to it's language. It's how many words you talk to your baby, talk to your children.
That's
and
it.
So we're really just getting started with that. We've hired a phenomenal person to run it, and then the rest of the staff around her are. We're moving forward. You'll be hearing a lot about that.
When you're talking about preschool, are we talking like pre-K? No.
Yeah, pre-K.
Pre-K, because I know how important that pre-K is. My youngest, who's now old, we were involved in that up in Nashville, and he wasn't mature enough. Even though he's 6'5", now you don't give him any trouble. But it helped, and my wife Dee Dee lobbied with the county up in that location to get him in, and boy, did it make a difference in him growing up.
I think it does. You get that start. You get that confidence. If you go into a classroom and you don't know the material and you don't think you can learn it, it's very hard to turn that around.
Yeah.
You might be interested to know that we actually have one of our projects it's called Help Me Behave. Yeah. And we actually go in. It's too late.
My dad had a project
It's too late
called
for
that.
you guys.
You're talking about Ben. Are you listening?
But you may or may not know that more children are expelled from preschool than high school.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is that, all of a sudden, let's just say that you're living paycheck to paycheck. If you miss your work one more time, you're going to get fired. And you get the call that says, your kid can't come back. He's bitten a child too many times. He's too rough. He doesn't listen. You notice I used he and all of that.
I did
that's okay.
That didn't get by me.
We're okay. We're outnumbered anyways.
But I will tell you that that one of my granddaughters, I know they're not listening, they're too young, actually had this. She would actually run after, if somebody had a toy she wanted, she'd run after them, knock them down. I know you told me not to do that. Yeah. Knock them down, and then if they didn't give her the toy, she'd bite them.
Oh.
And that really, parents are not happy when they come and find a huge bite mark.
The bite is not good. The bite is not good.
And so we were very fortunate because with her, we were able to have an instructor go in, and they work. You can't work with the child. Child's not going to listen to you. work with the parents and with the preschool teacher. And what would happen is every time she would go after a child, the teacher would say, hey, I'm not going to mention her name, why don't you come do this for me? And it was like, okay, redirecting.
Yeah.
And so we were fortunate there. We're not as fortunate with children who at some point in time may go on the autism spectrum, or who may not get the help they need at home to change that behavior. So we do our best to at least keep kids in the preschool so they can learn and be more ready.
I would just think, and that's incredible. I think the hardest part must be, I'm so blessed that, come from provided a good home for our kids and a base, and my wife, but it's got to be so hard out there for the families where we can't get the parents engaged or keep them engaged, or they're trying to be engaged, but like you say, they can't drive them, they can't, it's who knows, and it's a tough thing, and it's hard to believe that it's around us here, but not only here but everywhere else, and we know that that's where the strength for families for the future is at home, where it all starts.
And you think about the fact that these are the children that we hope will stay in this. We hope that children will stay in our community, and it's just very, very difficult. And as affluent as our county appears to be, it's a lot of passive income. And when you look at a service industry and you look at a lot of businesses that don't pay a whole lot more than minimum wage, it's very hard to live on that. So as hard as you try sometimes, just life gets in the way.
So also a big thing I imagine as I become more involved and aware of things around myself, I've only been here 15 years, but it's such a philanthropic area, and we are just blessed by that, correct?
We are very blessed by that. And what we're finding is that not only are we blessed, but that the donors, the investors, the contributors are more and more savvy about what we do. It used to be if you put out a really nice, heartfelt letter, you would get money back. Now you get, if you're looking for a more significant donation, they want to know, how are you going to sustain this? Yeah. We're actually entering into thank you for saying that, a capital campaign to actually purchase this building. And we're very carefully putting information together because that's what the donors are going to want to know. If you buy this building, can you sustain it? Can you, in fact, are you doing enough now that, and luckily we are, and then what are your future plans?
Right.
And so, but we live in an area that has a lot of not-for-profits, but a lot of not-for-profits supported by a lot of really wonderful people.
Yeah, and as you know, Frank, you've been around a while. You intend to know these people. I was, just looking through Susie's website, and nice to know a few people I knew, and nice to read about some of the backgrounds of some of these people,
right.
And then you find out where their general interest lied at some, was at some point. However,
right.
I'm supposed to say that, and amazing. So a lot going on behind the scenes, and the other thing is getting the grants. That's the huge part of where you get your funding.
Grants are incredibly important, and grants, there are some grants like the Children's Services Council is great to work with, and we have a number of grants through, like the program I described a minute ago is through the Children's Services Council. We're also a United Way agency, so every year we write to United Way for help. And the state and federal, mainly state and federal contracts that we have are pretty much contracts on ongoing, but the grant funding really helps give you the ability to start new programs, to expand a little bit, to get that start that you need, because we don't have, most not-for-profits, us included, don't have a lot of operating capital. Yeah. Where we can say, okay, fine, sure, we can sustain a new business for 3 months or 6 months. We just don't have that.
Right.
And
right.
So we look to people who are really looking for something innovative, something different, something that has a real purpose.
Well, and people talk to each other about that all the time. I would just want to make a note here because this goes so fast. This is John Campion, your co-host with Frank Mezzapel, world famous, and our guest today, Our guest today is the president and CEO of Helping People Succeed, Susie Hutchinson, and she is a very well-known in the circuits around town. I mean, Susie, you have such
she's our local rock star.
You are.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No,
oh my gosh.
not
You know,
just-
I'm never getting out of this chair. I'm going to sit here forever.
My week starts with seeing her in Luminaries, and then see which group she was with, and so how many? Let me ask you a question here. How many different boards do you serve on?
I actually don't serve on a lot. I happen to be president of Seroptimus this year.
Okay.
And what a great organization that is.
That's a bunch of women, right?
Bunch of women.
That's perfect for
bunch
you.
of incredible women.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
So
And you're involved with Kiwanis.
I am actually the
Very
lieutenant
involved.
governor
Yes.
for Kiwanis this year.
Yeah.
And
Hey, governor.
love Kiwanis. You know, Kiwanis just put the barrier-free
Park.
playground in at Kiwanis Park in downtown Stewart. So for the first time ever, children who are always in a wheelchair can swing.
How cool.
We have a piece there they can swing. There's a whole lot of stuff for folks who have sensory issues. And from the Helping People Succeed standpoint, we were thrilled to see this happen because kids don't know. You know, kids will see another kid in a wheelchair. Why are you in a wheelchair? Well, because I can't walk. Oh, okay, let's play. I mean, it's that simple.
That's cool.
And as we grow up, we make things so complicated.
Good. You know, I've always had a few people tell me, "Oh, you ought to join Kiwanis." I said, "Well, let me get off a couple other things." And
I have an application with me.
You always,
Yeah.
I do.
You want to buy a watch?
She's always packing. Always
packing. There
yes,
you go.
Yes, always.
Well,
Yes.
And I work with other groups as collaboratively and such.
Right, so you're like the
but
designated hitter. You know, when you got Susie involved, that it's a good thing, and that you're there to be part of it.
we have a great program it's called Project Search, and it's a collaborative with us, Martin Health System, who houses it, the ARC of Martin County, and Vocational Rehabilitation, and the school system. And we have 12 student interns, all who have varying disabilities, who actually do their their last school year
Okay.
at the hospital
So
as
they're
an intern.
seniors. They're seniors.
They're actually many have graduated.
Okay.
You can stay in school till you're 22 if you have a disability. And when we first started it, the hospital said, "We don't know that we can hire anybody." Since then, the hospital has hired a few people from each one of our 5 classes.
Cool.
But it's the only Project Search internationally that has 2 agencies that usually compete working together. And so we do a lot of collaboration with a lot of different organizations.
That is very cool. Frank, is that a sign that I'm supposed to throw the fastball? No, I'm kidding. Susie, I've only known you for maybe, I don't know, not a very long time, but I feel like I've known you for a long time. I've been in town for 15 years.
She's one of those kindred souls that you
Something
just can make
about
that
her.
connection with.
And
Yes.
I remember when my wife Dee Dee, I think she sat down and talked with you we were at a chamber dinner.
She's
function
really a
or
neat
something.
person, you know.
Well,
You're lucky.
She walked away
Yeah,
from
he-
that
he
just
says
blown
that.
away.
Yeah.
No,
He says that every week, how
she
lucky
was-
he is with Dee Dee. Absolutely.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, and she, I try to get her a little more involved in things because she's like one of those giving people like you and understands things.
I'll take her.
I know. It's I've been in that position before. I say, well, you can have her, but you got to give me a bag of cash and a first-round draft pick, and be waiting for that. But
Well,
soon she's going to be out there doing some things.
well,
you
we'd
know?
love to have you, both more and more involved. We appreciate the help you've given us, and we appreciate the entire community.
Yep. Well,
We're a very fortunate organization, and we strive to really, be the best that we can be. My goal is to be everybody's favorite nonprofit organization.
I think you've done a good job with that, and I don't
I got a
think
ways
people
to
feel
go.
well. And I don't think people feel threatened. I think by that I mean, we got to. I think it's like it's more of a fun thing to get, and then the long term of what it provides, and so very cool.
But we create taxpayers.
Well, that's great.
Doesn't get any better.
Right?
I love it.
Yeah,
I love
and
it.
put a lot of smiles on a lot of faces. That's the important thing too, right?
Yeah, and so if somebody wants to, let's discuss your location again. Get some people to come in there and check it out.
We would love for people to come. It's right off of Savannah Road, 1601 Northeast Braille Place. Our phone number, I'll give my direct line, which is 772-320-0777. We invite the community to come in. We love to show off. We love to let people have an idea of what's possible for groups of people that have been pretty much invisible or in the shadows for a long time.
And how long has Helping People Succeed been in Martin County? I mean, it transitioned.
54 years.
Okay, that's what I thought. It transitioned from a bunch of different things over the years.
We've had a number of names.
Yeah. Wow.
And Helping People Succeed looks like it's going to stick for a while.
That's great. Well, they're super lucky to have you leading the ship.
Well, you are so nice. Thank you.
You bet. And to have such a strong people to support you within your group. Susie Hutchinson's been our guest today from Helping People Succeed, President and CEO. And look for Susie as you read articles, hear stuff.
Meet her personally. Come to Kiwanis for lunch, and then meet her and sign up, and then
go back for a tour.
Exactly.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Perfect.
So thanks again for being here, and everybody in Martin County, Stuart. Have a great week. Stay dry. Don't forget to put your water wings on. Okay.
That's right.
It's John Campion and Frank Mezzapel saying, see you later.
All right.
Thanks, Frank.
All right. Take care.